Hello, everybody. I guess it's Sith here with a new idea I had, which isn't original at all, but whatever. Today, I decided to record a commentary, I would say, track of me watching Thomas and the Magic Railroad. Thomas and the Magic Railroad is probably my favorite childhood movie. I talk about it a lot with my friends, to the point where it probably annoys them, but I'm at least glad that they listen about it. Um, this movie, I would say, isn't a good movie, and it isn't known for being a good movie, but it has a very interesting production history, and there's a lot of things that I can just point out about it that I really like to point out. So I just thought, hey, I'm rewriting the movie, making it a good movie, hopefully, and I like watching the original movie so much. Why not watch it now and just record my thoughts over it in a digestible format. um, so this will be like a you can watch along to the movie. You can watch the movie with me, I guess. I'll sync. I'll tell you when to play your movie or whatever. I am using a rip of the Blu-ray on my computer. If anybody is scared about that, I own the Blu-ray, so don't worry. Um, but yeah, I'm using the Blu-ray version. I don't know if there's any differences between that and the VHS version or the DVD version from the 2000s, but hopefully there aren't any. But yeah, so enough of that out of the way. I'm about to play the movie. When I say go, press play on your remote, your keyboard, your VHS DVD combo, whatever. So, 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. I've got a bottle of water with me and a cup full of ice. I got some applesauce. I've got 2 Twix bars. They're both left Twix. A little mini Reese's peanut butter cup and a lollipop, and I don't know the flavor. Oh, it's cherry. It's cherry. So yeah, this movie is indeed my favorite childhood movie. I love talking about this so much. And I can say probably the best thing about it is the music. I think the music in this movie is perfect. I will not take any slander over the soundtrack. Should spring for a glass cup. I think those keep it colder. Rest in peace, Peter Fonda. He does a good job in this movie, I think. I know he's played his favorite character here. Mara Wilson, I feel so bad for how she was treated. Alec, the Boss Baby. God, I gotta watch Boss Baby again. And Thomas the Tank Engine. For 15 minutes, he'll appear. Because, God. Hello, Mr. Conductor. Which one are you? I love the little tune of the Thomas anthem here. I think the model work in this movie is really, really good, especially this watermill set. I think that this is probably the best set in the movie. Um, I do think that just all the Thomas stuff in the movie, like, I'm not talking about the story aspect, but like all the models and the sets actually look really good. Maybe a little bit more variety in foliage, but because I've heard that complaint before, but it's all really, really good. And here's the reshot opening of the movie. This was meant to take place at Knapford Station, and as far as we know, they filmed it, or at least filmed part of it, because it shows up later in the movie, and there's some photos of it on a Japanese DVD, I'm pretty sure, but they reshot it because shooting at Knapford is absolutely awful. Here he comes. Oh, here comes the pencil. Right there on the right. There it is. I always love pointing that out. I know this is Belage's favorite character in Thomas. Overall, Diesel 10, I think, is a great character concept and design. doesn't make for a good character. Um, which makes me sad because I do love him. He's one of my favorites too. I wanna bring this up because I did say how I would make this movie better. Is that opening where Thomas is like, "It's Diesel 10's back and he's gonna destroy the railway," doesn't make sense. Well, I guess it would make sense from a storytelling perspective, but it doesn't make sense for the audience because, as far as we know, or why am I saying as far as we know? We have never seen Diesel 10 before. This is his first appearance. There's no reason for us to be intimidated by him aside from his appearance, but like we don't know what he's capable of. I mean, from our perspective here, he can't even move the claw on top of him. So it's like there's no reason for the audience to feel any tension throughout the movie because they say this is the second time he's come to the island, but we have not seen him before. He doesn't make for a very interesting villain there. Which is why the original script where this is his first time on the island and he just comes here to cause mischief, I think is way better. That's just the start of many flaws in this movie. Also, I find it really weird how Shining Time is in this movie. So the way the script for this movie came about was that I think production, like script writing, took place, like it started in 1994 or 1995 when the fourth season was releasing in the UK. And so Shining Time was airing in the US at the time. And I guess that's why it's still in the script, but at this point in time, I think Shining Time was off the air for like 5 years. So even the target audience wouldn't know what it is. This scene's interesting to me because of the work print that was leaked. And yes, I am going to talk about it because there are literally no repercussions that are going to happen from me talking about it seriously. Anybody who tells you that a lawyer is going to come knock down your house just because you have the work print, they're lying, okay? But I should say, I wish Michael Angelis, rest his soul, portrayed James in this movie. Maybe not Percy, but I wish he was in this movie. And John Bellis as Thomas, I love. I really wish he was in this cut. Neil Crone, right? Canadian actor, portrays Diesel 10 perfectly. I have no issue with him. I love him. He was also in total drama, The Redonkulous Race. Weird fact. This is a reshot scene. You see the props are moving around a bit. That was pointed out on Twitter about a month ago. Here's another flaw of the movie here that I'm pointing out. Why does Thomas know about Lady? Why do any of them know about Lady? Again, this movie just does not mesh well with the canon. As far as we know, this movie is meant to take place after Season 5 of the show, which is why Cranky and Butch are there. They were both Season 5 newbies. But these characters know things that they shouldn't know that we haven't seen yet. And in the case of Diesel 10, like, you can kind of forgive that because it's like, oh, he's been on the island before, we didn't see that, whatever. But in the case of them knowing about Lady, the magical engine, that doesn't know why, it's just, I mean, the movie isn't canon anyway, but still, it's just weird to think about. I don't know. I would have done a million things differently with this. Strasbourg Railway? Is that how you say it? That's where they filmed that at? I'd really like to go there one day. I want to go to a real railroad/railway one day. I would love to visit the Talyllyn, however you say it, railway in the UK. Narrow gauge engines have always been really interesting. Billy Two Feathers recast. So Billy Two Feathers is a character from Shiny Time who was a Native American train engineer. And he was recast here with, I don't remember his name, and I hope that doesn't come off as disrespectful, but the actor here sadly passed a few years back, and he is actually Native American, which I like. It just makes me think, why did they cast him with a white dude in the original? Unless I'm wrong? I don't know. When I see a character in a show or a movie that's supposed to be like a certain race or ethnicity, I don't know why they'll cast him with someone that isn't that. And I don't mean that as in like a race bent character, like let's say in the Batman movie coming out, like Jim Gordon, how he's going to be African American now. I think that's fine. I just mean a character that's like, oh yeah, they're Native American, but then the actor isn't. Don't know why they do that. Seems bad to me. That was Birdie. Yeah. Oh, there's the flowers from PT Boomer. Oh boy, I'm gonna be bringing him up a lot, aren't I? This lady prop. Ah, it's so sad what happened to it. Um, so for anybody who doesn't know, this prop right here is actually a real life-size engine. I don't think it actually operates, of course, but it is a full-size prop, and it was found in Florida. I'm pretty sure about 2 or 3 years ago. Redecorated. Somebody had taken it from the production after the movie ended, and just redecorated as a Christmas prop. And some people in Restore the Magic, hashtag Restore the Magic. I'm not endorsing them, by the way. You'll learn why. Um, Found the prop and stored it, but they have not shown us any photos, and people are scared that the model has been dismantled and possibly broken. Uh, which I hope is not the case, because as bad as this movie is, I really do want to see like all the props just maintained properly. Again, talking about the work print, it's really funny. Um, this is all, well, not all of it, but some of those lines are redubbed or dubbed over because this scene was supposed to play near the end of the movie, and it's where Burnett reveals what P.T. Boomer did in the past. So all the lines mentioned in Diesel 10 are actually just dubs. Very interesting. I didn't even know about that until the work print happened. Ah, Splodge, my favorites. Funny thing about them, well, this has already been this has been speculated for like years now, but these models were not lost on the shipping from Toronto back to the UK. These models are actually Arian Burt from season 5, 6, 7, and beyond. Obviously repainted. I think their faces were shrunken down to fit new IMAX, which is why their faces appear smaller in later seasons. But you can actually see in some promotional artwork their stripes on Splodge. And then after they were repainted back in Arian Burt in Calling All Engines, you can actually see some purple paint on one of them, which is very interesting. And I think that Dodge's chassis, his wheels and such, are actually diesels from season 2. Um, with the way that Splodge works in the movie, I love Splodge. I think the voice acting from Keith Frank and Neil Crone is awesome, but they don't do anything. And I hate saying that when I'm talking about movies because I've been in arguments with friends where we'll talk about a movie and then they'll say like this character didn't do anything, you could erase them and nothing would change, and I always hate that argument because then I'm like no, because then you have to rewrite some of that script and some of the story so that you could fit that change that's that that makes your statement untrue. But with Splodge, yeah, if you took them out, really nothing would happen. Just yeah. And again, that makes me sad because I actually love these characters. I just, I don't know. In my script, they're kept secret and they actually gather intel and stuff. It's weird to explain, but I don't know. I think my versions are way better. um, Makes me sound egotistical, but yeah. The jokes of Mr. Conductor being a drug user make a lot of sense with this joke. Also, I want to bring up the Thomas and the Magic Railroad parody, the 3 hour long movie on YouTube, is a work of art. I really love it, and everything that Rob, I think his name is, Wooden Railway Reviews, did as Mr. Conductor was phenomenal. I think he was a great actor for the role. He just did awesome. I think he was my favorite part of the movie. When did the Lost Engine disappear, though? Because on Sodor, they have a bridge that goes to the mainland, which is the UK. So, what are you talking about? When was the Lost Engine? Did the Lost Engine disappear like a year ago or something? Like, what happened? What happened to the economy on Sodor now that they can't have any outsiders? I wanna know. Mutt is the weirdest part of this movie. Why did I say that? I think this dog is like, he's a puppet master in this reality. I think Mutt would probably eat Mr. Conductor. I'm not gonna say. I'm trying not to cuss during this whole thing. I was about to do the nostalgia critic joke. Sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. You know, I'm not gonna do it. I want to let anybody watch this commentary track. That shot was possibly from the original opening, based off the concept art. Very cool. The utilization of live action actors and the models, I think, is good, but while because I did say earlier that the model work in this movie I think is great, I don't know, it feels a little worse than the original seasons. I don't know, if this was like a season 4 type setting, I think it would work even better. And here's the original opening of the movie. Dieselton going through Knapford. This was supposed to be the original. Just reuse that footage because Neil Crone and Keith Frank, they both improvised a lot of comedy for the movie because they were originally auditioning for the Troublesome Trucks, and then they got recast as a bunch of different other characters, which is good because I think they fulfill their roles really good. I especially like Neil Crone's Gordon voice. It's the perfect Gordon voice. No, she's supposed to come in earlier. Yeah, I feel really bad for how Mara Wilson felt after making this movie. I'm pretty sure this was her last movie. Maybe there was another one afterwards, but she quit acting not that soon after. But she became a pretty good author, I heard. She sold a lot of books, and she did a podcast and an interview recently for the Magic Railroad Blu-ray, and she has positive experience. Her experience with the movie is positive, which I'm really happy about. But I feel really bad for her. I really loved the movie Matilda, directed by Danny DeVito of all people. I didn't even know about that fact until like a week ago, but recommend watching that if you like Mara Wilson's performance in this movie. I think she was nominated for an award for this, actually. I don't think she won, though. And she exits the movie. Why is she talking to that bird? Yes, back to the models. Let's go back to the models. Yeah, this is what every kid said, because I would just skip the live action bits. Yeah, they used the wrong movie backdrop or sky background on that shot because that was supposed to be the on the work print. There's no filter on that scene. Seeing this footage, but with Michael Angelus's performance as James, has changed me. I just think the work print version is better. For this scene, at least. There they are. Oh, there's the hench tanker, I think. And there's the alternate Percy model. I learned Toby's voice actor in this movie is actually in both recent Stephen King's It movies. He plays a police officer. Weird to think about. Why does Henry know about Lady? Tagline. I love this. I always forget that Harold is in this movie. Has one scene. Oh, I bet I know what happened. Probably they reconstructed the Titmus Sheds scene for that one brief snippet of Diesel 10 because they covered it in seizing powder there. I bet that's what happened, so they had to move some props around. Just now realizing we also see Sir Topham's office in the CGI era, especially Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure. Sodor's Legend of the Lost Treasure, which, by the way, is the best Thomas special / movie. I recommend going to watch that. It's weird for me to think that it's not the same design. And also, seeing images from the show here is really weird, especially since one's from season 5, the other two are from season 3. The best season, by the way. Why is she a figure? So he is canonically related to George Carlin and Ringo Starr. Got it. Reading Writing Arithmetic. Who voices Topham in this? Probably just a crew member or something doing the little grunts, but I'd like to know. And here's the best model scene. Funny enough, the Tidmouth Sheds set, or the model, is reconstructed. In the first 5 seasons, it's a different model. And starting with this movie, they made it bigger, taller, and that's what was used for the rest of the series run. And I didn't know that because I am blind. It's really interesting that the railway is like under repairs right now, especially with Tidmouth Sheds. It makes me want to see like a little mini prequel where it's like a big storm goes throughout the island or something. Go outside and play. Why do you keep hitting him like that? You're gonna need a timeout. This part always freaked me out as a kid. Just a little sweeter. How does he not hear him? Oh, I love this. And that's better. I think this is the only time in the movie where he's actually a threat, aside from the ending chase, I guess. Again, Diesel is just not threatening. It's sad. I really want to see his model nowadays. I hope it's not dying in a vat in the garage. Nope, Gordon's face falling off. Don't loosen your tank, it'll seize you up for good. Okay, bye bye. Jesus, really? You could have grabbed him, probably. I want to see more behind the scenes photos of this movie because there is an account on Twitter, TTTE underscore unofficial, I think is the name, and it's somebody who posts leaks, I would say, of behind the scenes images and stuff, and which, depending on your view, is good or bad. I think it's good, honestly, because I don't think anybody's going to care if behind the scenes images of Magic Railroad get leaked out. It was a failure of a movie released 21 years ago. Oh wow, that's weird to think about. Um, I don't know. It's just whatever. But I really like seeing the behind the scenes images. Like I saw one of Thomas, Lady, and Percy's brass models being constructed, and that's really cool to see. They must have been heavy models. This applesauce is really good, by the way. Eat your applesauce, kids. Yeah, sure. Another cut aspect of the P.T. Boomer plotline, the road next to Shining Time. There would be no magic, no steam engines or railroad tracks or whatever. It would just be a road now. Um, which you never notice in this scene, really. You're always just looking at Stacy or the closed on the building. I've got to find more gold dust. And he didn't get any sleep that night. Is nobody questioning why there's a dog in a train station? Oh my god. There's literally a guard right there to your left, Lily. Just ask him, hey, what's track 3? Uh. Oh, is this where How the Moon Must Feel comes into play? This is probably the best song in the entire movie. Seriously, the entire soundtrack for this movie is just, it's beautiful. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I love it. I have it on my Spotify, and every time the main title theme comes up, I have to let it play the entire way through. That is a that laptop looks weird. Living in the 21st century now. Oh god. I'm pretty sure this engine's actually still in operation. I would love to ride it. That'd be a weird thing to do. Um, I say that. I mean, it would be a really nice thing to think about. Like I watched this movie so much, and now I'm riding the actual engine. I would love to do that. Speaking of the Magic Railroad parody a while back, they actually filmed a lot of their scenes in the same shooting locations as the original movie. Um, I hope that there's. I think there's like a 30-minute video on YouTube. I still have to watch it of some behind the scenes of them going to the locations, but I hope that there's like a whole behind the scenes video, like a giant one about the movie, because there's a lot of work that went into that. That's just awesome. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why would when did Diesel 10 tell you that? But then I'm like, no, wait, maybe he's talking about original Diesel. I don't know. Weird to think that Diesel wasn't the main antagonist of this movie. That would make a lot more sense, honestly. My applesauce. I like to call this scene the marketing scene. Um, it reminds me of a movie called Mac and Me, which my friends showed me. Um, it is a 1980s E.T. ripoff made by McDonald's. And in the movie, whenever a Coke can appears, which is a lot because it was a big sponsor of the movie, whenever a Coke can appears in Mac and Me, when the camera changes shots, the Coke can is magically, it changes sides so that you can see the logo on the camera. And I like to think of this scene as being the "eat your vegetable, kids, eat your vegetables" scene. Because there's no reason why Mr. Conductor is like, I'll try the celery. That'll tell me how to get the magic gold dust. Where is Percy? Where is Edward? It should be noted that Thomas's model in this movie is actually completely new. For the movie, the models were given some fixes, I'd say. Um, because if you notice during the original show, obviously there's a few little gaps that you can see in some of the faces where you can see the eye mech or there's just a blank space. So a lot of faces were recasted, specifically Gordon and Henry. A lot of their eye sockets shrinked in size. But in the case of Thomas's model, because he's obviously the main character of the show, he was used so much they actually just made an entire new model for him, along with Percy. And yeah, they were the only two models that got a new model. And their brass models were used in conjunction with the original plastic ones for until the show ended. Thomas, I know, got actually two more brass models, maybe three, during the hit era, so he had a lot of models. I think the Magic Railroad model is in Hara Railway Museum. Pretty sure. I'll try the celery. I will say this scene as a kid convinced me to eat celery. I don't like celery. Toothpaste. Beach. Wait a minute. Beach. Also, a rabbit wrote this for him? God, the lore of this movie is so confusing. I think I should write an essay about it. Oh, I feel so bad for this actor here. I do not remember his name, but the actor for Junior, this was meant to be his big role. He was meant to break out as a big star after this movie, which sadly didn't happen, though he did end up playing a character in Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy games. I don't remember who it is, but it's apparently a really big fan favorite character, which I'm happy for him, but this movie is just... I'd like to see what would have happened if this movie had succeeded, what he would have done. It should also be noted, they were making a Magic Railroad 2. I wonder whatever happened to that. And now we're actually getting a live action CGI hybrid movie. Um, wonder whatever happened to that World War II movie. I wonder whoever made a video about that. I think I'm excusing the weird stuff too much. I just went in my head, why is he using flowers as a phone? Perfect wave. Sauce? Wait, I was questioning the flowers. Why does he have a shell phone? Oh, I tried to throw away my applesauce in my trash can, and I missed the throw. The throw was not very far. That was embarrassing. I love applesauce. Give me applesauce. Oh, that boy, he's so sad. I opened up a Twix bar. So I think now is a good time to talk about how this movie, a lot of people say this isn't a Thomas movie, and it's more of a Shining Time movie. But it's not really a Shining Time movie either, because most of the characters in this movie are not from Shining Time Station. So of course you have Stacy and Billy Two Feathers from Shining Time. Only two characters return from the show. You got Mr. Conductor, but he's not the Mr. Conductor. He's not either Mr. Conductor from the original show. He's a new one. And then the other characters you have Patch, Burnett, P.T. Boomer in the original cut, Lily, Junior. None of them are from Shining Time. The thing about this movie is, I think the best way you could make this movie work is by cutting out Thomas, cut out Shining Time, just have the movie be about Burnett, P.T. Boomer, Lily, and Tasha. I think that would make a good movie. Like, I wouldn't expect it to get raving reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think that would be a good movie. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking that, but I think there is a good movie somewhere in these plot lines. It's just heavily filtered. Oh no, Red Letter Media guy died. People think the juggler is, I think Mike from Red Letter Media. Not true at all, but he does look a lot like him. How'd you not hear him? Could have just gotten up and walked to the tracks, but okay. I just need one more fix. Sorry, I was finishing my Twix bar. My favorite chocolate. I recommend that kind of chocolate to anybody who wants chocolate. Oh, there he is. There's P.T. Boomer. So in this scene, P.T. Boomer is talking to Burnett, and he's just like, "That engine you got hiding, she's up in the mountains, right? She's good for one thing. She's good for scrap." But they redub it to where he's helping him with directions. And also, it's only on there for like a split second, but Stacy has a photo of Burnett, Tasha, and Boomer, and I don't think there's anywhere you can see the picture like in a good resolution. I can't find it anywhere. Hopefully that Twitter account posts that. That'd be awesome if they got a photo. Good water. And I also like to point out, because the mural on the station wall depicted a tugboat. A lot of people probably know this by now, but I'd like to talk about it because Tugs is, of course, the sister series of Thomas the Tank Engine, and it's one of my favorite shows. Short-lived, of course, sadly, but, you know, maybe I'll make a watch-along for those episodes. That'd be nice. But originally, some of the Tugs members were going to show up in this movie. So if you didn't know, oh yeah, Big City, that might be a reference to Tugs. But if you didn't know, Thomas the Magic Railroad was shot in, or the model scenes were shot in Toronto instead of Shepperton Studios in the UK. I think it was cheaper to shoot them, and I think the government will actually give you money when you're making a movie, I'm pretty sure, maybe. I don't know much about the Canadian government because I live in the US, but some of the models were shipped to Toronto, and some of the Tugs cast was shipped there too, a crew member revealed. There was a scene called the Seaside Run, and it was going to have it was going to be part of a music part of the movie, with a sing along, and Thomas would run around a coastal track, and in the water would be some of the Tugs cast, which I assume would be 10 Cents and Sunshine, seeing as they're the two main characters. So I'm really sad that didn't happen. I'm sure David Mitton was just crushed by that. But what's weird about that is that whenever the models were shipped to Toronto, most of the Thomas props were shipped there too. But sadly, some of them were damaged. Bulstrode was damaged, and he got a new model built entirely for season 6 and onward. And Big Mickey and the Fulton Ferry, two Tugs characters, were damaged too. And you'll see after this movie, Big Mickey has a new model with different proportions, and the Fulton Ferry never appears again. It's just a mess. It makes me really sad as a fan of Tugs to have learned about that. Oh, we're about to get to a cut character yet again. And there's Cranky. In the work print, you can actually see a bit of his face iMech, or whatever, which is interesting. Cranky was meant to have a scene where he would drop either oil or fruit on Splodge or Diesel 10, but the scene was never shot, and his model's just there for set dressing. Oh, just red. Another cut character from this movie was George, who was meant to be one of the antagonists. But his scenes were never shot. His model wasn't even shipped to Toronto, as far as I know. Talking about the original cast of the movie, Splodge was actually at one point voiced by Michael Angelis as well. And the work print and the leaked P.T. Boomer chase scene that came out a few years ago feature him doing their voice work. I actually really like this scene, showing Diesel being conniving here. And a behind-the-scenes leaked photo of the scene being shot was also on that Twitter account. This part in particular. It's very cool seeing those photos. Again, I want to see more like that. Here's the part I would always skip to as a kid because of a really useful engine. Probably the best Thomas song. Yeah, it is. Oh, it's so good. Oh, this is perfect. Percy was also heading just towards buffers there, pointing that out. There's Butch. This little set here, Henry's tunnel, love it. That's shot from the beginning of the movie. There's Henchtaker and Annie and Claire Barrel switched. This was my first, like, legit Trains video. It wasn't made as a joke. This whole little song, just because I love it so much. I gotta find a physical copy of the Magic Railroad soundtrack. I would love to own that. Why? Henry doesn't need special coal anymore. You can trace that problem all the way back to this movie now. What? Simple little set. I like this. It's always the smaller sets that are more spectacular. Weird thing is the little grotto, the little well magic buffers are not the same buffers that Percy goes to. Oh, here we. Okay. I'll change it. Diesel 10 feels like a threat here too. I actually I remember showing this movie to Blage, and it was this exact scene, and he just tells me, "Is he actually trying to kill him?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's awesome." This is an awesome part of the movie. I think this is actually really cool. That always shocks people when I tell them, yeah, he's actually trying to kill Mr. Conductor here. Like, he's actually going to murder him. This viaduct is called the Big Dipper in the scripts. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children. This scene, the parody. I'm not gonna say what's said there because I want to keep this PG at most, but. And dead. No? Okay, fine. Again, talking about cut characters. These aren't cut characters, but I'd like to bring them up because I know people like to bring them up whenever Magic Railroad discussion happens. The Skarloey Railway, the narrow gauge engines. People often question, like, what were they doing during this movie? Why didn't we see them? And the simple answer is the movie would become bloated without them. I don't think there's any way to put them in this story and have it flow right. That's why in the rewrite, I'm barely mentioning them. There's a big thing. I didn't even talk about Edward. So a lot of people will question why Edward is not in this movie. Simple answer is he was never in any of the scripts. They never thought to put him in. I don't know why they didn't think to put the first character ever invented for the series in the movie, but yeah, he's not in it. Oh, here's the replaced scene for the cranky scene. How to stop being stupid. There's some Tugs props in these. And Henry teleported. Every love story starts off with a boy, a girl, a tire swing, and a magic railroad. Hello, it's me, the devil from Ghost Rider, the movie. Bring me back one of the burgers from Shiny Time Depot. Another funny thing about that's a lie. One of the deleted scenes that was revealed on the Blu-ray, Burnett is in a phone booth at Shiny Time. Which is very cool because I don't think anybody knew about that scene until the Blu-ray came out. Also, speaking of the Blu-ray, the rights to Magic Railroad are really weird because officially the movie is actually not owned by Mattel, it is owned by Sony. Because Destination Films were absorbed by Sony, I think, after they went bankrupt. So the Magic Railroad release was probably only because Mattel wasn't the rights owners. It's Britt Allcroft and Sony. Which made it really weird to think that a model series DVD, and not even DVD, Blu-ray, would come out at this point after the CGI series is over. I would, I know the Blu-ray's a bit lacking in some areas, but I would really like to see a classic series release, like seasons 1 through 5 at least, on Blu-ray with the same like content as the Magic Railroad one. Interviews, interviews, behind the scenes images, just trailers. I don't know. I would kill for a season 1 Blu-ray with a bunch of behind the scenes images that we haven't seen before. Be awesome. There's a tiny skateboard. You just kidnapped her. Just kidnapped her. They're just... Oh boy. Oh, they're on a green screen. The Magic Railroad looks very cool, actually. I know it's inspired by a real, railway line. I think that was in a forest or something. There's an image of it online that you can find. It looks really cool. And there's now a sighting with the coal truck. I feel like the whole coal truck scene was actually a rewrite or a reshoot there, because the way he segues into that line and continues after that doesn't mesh well at all. Yo, what? I'd also like to clear a misconception with this. So people think that because Lily and Junior are now the same size, that all of Sodor is like a child's like toy train set size. That's not true at all. Whenever you go to the island of Sodor, everything comes the same size basically. So, you know, putting a real life steam engine on Sodor would not shrink it down. It just everything is now proportional. Stuff party poppers down my funnel. There was on the Blu-ray release. There was actually a feature. There was a extra that nobody expected. Literally nobody thought about this. Was a fake interview with Thomas. As far as I know, nobody's ever seen it. Nobody ever knew about it before the Blu-ray came out, and it's him just. It's Eddie Glenn, who is the voice actor for him in the final cut, just being like, in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, Mr. Conductor has to solve the gold dust crisis. It's like that. And I wish there was something in a lot of movies, just the characters in the movie talking about the movie. Like imagine if you go to watch Toy Story 5, because they'll make a fifth one, and it's just Woody in an interview being like, yeah, in Toy Story 5 we're doing a lot of great stuff. I don't know. I like the idea of the fictional characters actually talking about it, like as if it was a real thing that happened. And the lady will smile. How'd you forget about it? How many of the conductor family are there? Because couldn't they have called like George or Ringo? Um, I should talk about that now. There was a fan fiction on fanfiction.net called Thomas Abridged, and the first part of Thomas Abridged is seasons 1 through 5 with Magic Railroad, and then part 2 is seasons 6 and 7. And I think a little bit of 8, but unfortunately, the series has been dormant for like 2 years, and that makes me really sad to hear. I don't like hearing about stories that aren't finished and then the creator just disappears off the face of the earth. And the fan fiction is definitely not for kids. It is not for kids. There are so many things that are just adult about that. But it's a good fan fiction, I'd say. And the way they do Magic Railroad with conductors is that Mr. Conductor, Alec Baldwin, is incompetent. And so you get George Carlin and Ringo Starr in the movie. And they incorporate them really, really well. I really like it. Yes, it is. And he's dead. Oh no, he's definitely dead. So wait, Diesel 10 also knows about Junior here. So the last time Diesel was here, which I assume is when he nearly destroyed Lady, Mr. Conductor and Junior were also there and stopped him? Why didn't we get that story? That would be way more interesting. And this is where PT Boomer comes in and tries to bribe Patch to tell him where the Magic Railroad is. Or where Lady is, but Doesn't happen. You could just say this is a screenshot from season 6. They really don't do anything in this movie. I don't think, obviously, people don't know any readers, because, I am not making an actual movie out of the rewrite. I'm just writing the script. I'm doing little scenes here and there, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm probably not going to make a whole movie out of it. Somebody else is, though. Jacob Meme Reel. But the quarry in the script is supposed to be Diesel 10's hideout, mountain, whatever. I made the quarry just to give it an actual purpose inside the story, and that's why there's so many sightings and everything. Pouring the rest of my water in my cup before my ice melts. Don't think that's how that works, Mr. C. There's also a thing that I've been asked about before is, in the rewrite, will Lady ever appear? I can neither confirm nor deny, because I find the whole concept really silly. But, I don't know. I mean, I am keeping gold dust, so maybe. But, God, there's just so many things wrong with this movie. It's not a Thomas movie, it's not a Shining Time movie. I wouldn't even say it's a family movie. Can I even call this a movie? I guess. The only important engines in this movie are Thomas, Percy, and James, I'd say. Obviously Thomas, because Thomas the Magic Railroad. Percy, because best friend of Thomas. And James, because he gets that scene at the smelters. Everybody else gets a kind of cool moment. No, not really, only Toby. Which, another thing in the rewrite I'm trying to do is just give every character their moment. Good or bad. Obviously with Henry there is the flying kipper. With Gordon he gets the Sodor's finest scene. Percy I'm trying to work out. Edward could do another one. Toby of course gets to keep his scrapyard to save. Thomas, main character, whatever. And then James, I don't know. I got a few ideas. Why is there a tumbleweed? There he is. Look, that effect didn't look good at all. There's a whole thing. I remember talking with a user about it, and I say it's CGI, but a lot of people say that this is actually the original model footage of Thomas here, but I feel like it's CGI just because he looks a little more cartoony. Because on the work print there is footage of the model on a green screen. This shot is a model, but I don't know. It looks CGI to me. It looks animated. I don't know. Just the proportions seem a little different, but I could be wrong. He looks good. He looks good. I like that. That was definitely CGI though. The coupling wiggling. At least I think, maybe. Also another thing, Sodor is not in another dimension. It's it's a little weird, but it in the Railway series, it's in the Irish Sea on a little island. It is not meant to be another universe like I used to joke about. Before anybody's like, "Oh, Thomas is actually from another dimension." He's not. So this horse right here was actually meant to have gold dust put into its horse hooves. Or no, horseshoes. Sorry. Um, Cut from the final movie. This shot right here. I guess this is either another take or they cut him out, but P.T. Boomer is supposed to ride in on a motorcycle and then jump into that portal with Thomas. And the funny thing about that scene, the Blu-ray came out and the big selling point of it was, hey, all of P.T. Boomer's scenes are here. And in the trailer, it shows that scene, but in the final Blu-ray release, when you have when you select the deleted storylines option, and you click on the PT Boom, like you want to go see the PT Boomer stuff, that scene's not there. I don't know why it's in the trailer, but it's not in the final Blu-ray. It's so strange to me. It's so strange. I don't know how they missed it. Makes me scared they're gonna re-release the Blu-ray with like a few extra things, and it's like I already have the first version. Do I buy the next one? I don't know. People are gonna call me a consumer for that. Sorry that I just like the stupid movie. There's no special coal from the island of Sodor. Funny thing about Sodor is that it does not have a coal mine. It did in season 5, but that was then later retconned. It's not meant to have one. Also, Diesel's on the outside of the sheds, now he's on the inside. Strange cut. But yeah, another funny thing about this scene is pretty notorious because James's model actually fell off the set here. There is a big drop behind him, just like in the movie. And during filming, his model burst through the buffers and just fell off and cracked open in a few places. And you can apparently see some of the cracks in this scene, but I can never spot them. I don't think that's the first time a model has fallen off the set and gotten damaged. I know that was the case of Zip in Tugs. I've always thought about that line by Diesel. He goes, "What the?" But he says, "What the?" And I just remembered that Neil Crone, whenever he was going to play Diesel 10 after the changes, if you didn't know, Diesel 10 was voiced by another voice actor at one point, and he's in the trailers and the leaked PT Boomer chase scene. I don't remember his name, but he was a lot more threatening. But he was replaced because test audiences said he was too scary as the voice actor. And Neil Crone came in, and originally he was going to portray Diesel 10 as a Russian engine. And there's an interview he did on YouTube, actually, and at the end he does a little Russian accent as Diesel 10. And I feel like that cut was from that. It's like, what the... I don't know. Just a little crackpot theory of mine. So the reason I brought up the horse having gold dust on the hooves, on the horseshoes, gosh, is because in one of the original scripts before rewrites happened, Thomas and Lily did not couple up to the coal truck, and it was instead left in the Magic Railroad. And Patch, using his horse, would go in and shovel it out. Doesn't make sense. This was filmed in a Toronto alleyway. Awesome. And there was something else with that scene, wasn't it? Oh yeah, there was also a scene, which you can see in the leaked work print, where Lily falls off of Thomas on the Magic Railroad and he has to come in reverse and get her back. Offered nothing to the plot, I guess, and that's why they cut it. I never thought I would hear that line in my life, but here we are. Green's the color of evil in Disney. I think you should have said Grandma, Lily. Oh, here comes the reveal. There we go. Oh, and yeah, that's Britt Allcroft as Lily, or Lady, sorry. Lady was not meant to talk, actually. She would communicate telepathically with Thomas. It was eventually decided that she would be voiced by Britt Allcroft herself. And I think that's honestly for the best. Just weird to hear Britt Allcroft here. That's definitely CGI. Woo! Models. Here comes probably the most viewed scene of the movie ever. I know there's a few uploads of it on YouTube, and like they get the millions of views because this is the part of the movie everybody remembers. I think you can erase the loss there. And nope. No, you can. You can. You literally can. If Lady can go from Muffle Mountain all the way to Sodor, then she can definitely go from Sodor to Muffle Mountain, which is on the other side of Shining Time. You can make it back. There's no reason for them to be sad here. And here's where the PT Boomer cut shows up. And God, I wish we had that work print. Oh, this is cool. This is unironically really cool. I love this chase. She's part of the clue to the source of the gold dust. Oh, there's the PT Boomer figure. There are a few cuts in this dialogue. Oh, I love this. I'd like to also bring up Pinchy, as Dieselton calls it in this, differs wildly between cuts. Oh, and here's PT Boomer. There we go. Um, Originally, Pinchy would appear through a hatch in Diesel 10's roof, and I guess they never did that because the model wouldn't have been able to function like that. Um, and it wasn't even named Pinchy, that was just Neil Crone improvising, and he's like, oh, let's just name it. Which I guess works with kids. I think it's a little dumb, but whatever. I really do wish that we had seen it instead come out of the hatch. I think that would have been a cool shot. Just the top of them opening and out comes a giant claw. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, you can see the fishing line. I forgot about that. Film cut. Woo! And this part makes no sense. So, the claw has like a hydraulics thing on it because it can extend, weirdly enough. Oh, if only that was a Tugs character. Nice time of the year for a cruise. And out steps a villain that isn't that threatening. Still need to figure out the end of the chase scene. She knew. She didn't even tell them. This doesn't make sense. I keep saying that about a movie with talking steam engines. I'm so dumb. I gotta stop doing that with kids' movies. Like, this doesn't make sense. Nah, it's a fictional story. Here comes the weird shot. I do not like the effect of the gold dust going into their whistles here. It's just, it doesn't look good. And that doesn't look good at all. I remember the parody. A few days ago, they released a bunch of deleted scenes, and one of them was Patch, just an American country boy walking around on Sodor, and it's like that would make for an interesting little short. I wish that they made that for like a DVD release where it's just like, here's Patch's adventures around Sodor, and it just shows him like at Knapford or something, just amazed by all the talking steam engines. Oh god, oh man, here comes the part that makes me mad. Don't do the spin. Don't do the spin. Please don't do it. Don't do it. No. Oh no, no. I guess they don't have to pay for phone bills. Oh, you saw Stepney. And remember to check out Saturday Night Live. I wonder if this would have led into the sequel. If the sequel had been made, I wonder if, like, this is how Lily would make it back. Oh, there's Lily from the future, from the original opening of the movie. If you didn't know, the original opening for the movie, Lily was supposed to be the narrator, not Mr. Conductor, and would introduce the story by telling her kids about it through a book. And she and Patch would be shown grown up, like 30 years old. Also, the guy who plays Patch as an adult also voiced that dog from Almost Naked Animals, the cartoon show on Cartoon Network from like 2012. Weird fact I learned. What? I am home. I've been home since like spring break 2020. Oh, here it comes. Oh yeah, it's really useful engine, and then it's locomotion. And that was Thomas the Magic Railroad. Michael E. Rogers, that's his name. That was Junior. Russell Means. That was his name. That was Billy Two Feathers. So, Thomas the Magic Railroad. Bad movie. I'm gonna say it's a bad movie. It really is. The story doesn't make sense. The acting can be a bit bad in some places. The effects aren't great. And just, it's not great. But I absolutely love it. It is my, as I've said before, it is my favorite childhood movie. I can watch this at any time. I love talking about it. I love showing friends it. I bought the Blu-ray. I have 2 VHS tapes of it. Just, I love this movie. I can't help it. I can't help it. I just wish it was better. This is a good cover. I like this. So, the main ways to fix this movie, and this is the way I'm doing it with Rewrite, is cut out Lily, Burnett, P.T. Boomer, Stacy, Junior, Billy Two Feathers, Patch. Cut them all out. Keep Mr. Conductor, because he furthers the plot. Keep the engines, of course. Include Edward. Maybe the other engines. You can include Duck Through Oliver if you want. And just make Diesel Ten a threat. Make Splotch useful. And just center the story on Sodor. Don't go off of there. Because if you're making a movie that's called Thomas and the Magic Railroad, people are obviously going to expect Thomas. And out of this entire movie, there are only about 15 to 20 minutes of models. But it's Thomas and the Magic Railroad. It's meant to be his big movie, but it's not. I don't know. Just, it makes me sad that this movie failed, and that because of it we didn't get another movie at all. But hey, now there's a new one in the works by Mattel. It's going to be a live-action CGI hybrid, and I'm hoping it's good. It's going to be... it's not at all tied to the reboot, which I do not have any high hopes for. I do not like the look of the reboot. But, yeah. At the end of the day, if you like this movie, nothing wrong with that. I'm right behind you. I think this is an enjoyable film. I have fun with it. Just don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You know, opinions are our own thing. It's whatever. And hey, maybe you'll find a friend that can watch it with you and they'll love watching it as a joke too. Well, maybe not even as a joke. Maybe they'll actually really like it. And that's also good. Yeah. Trying to think of any closing thoughts. I think a big thing that I'd like to talk about is just season 5 of Thomas and Friends was a big departure from the first 4 in that it was a lot more cinematic and a lot more mature. I'd say, because season 5 of Thomas was actually a showcase for Magic Railroad. It was meant to be, they would go to studios, they would go to places and be like, hey, we have this movie called Thomas the Magic Railroad. Would you like to see some test footage? If that didn't wow them, they would pop in a tape of season 5 and be like, look what we can do on this kind of budget. Now imagine what we could do if we had $19 million. And, and I just wish that there was a season 5, the movie. I think season 5 of Thomas and Friends is one of the best. It's not my favorite. My favorite is, of course, season 3. But season 5 is just a great season. It's a great season in television. And if I just had a whole movie that looked like season 5, was written by like season 5, it'd be a great movie. But the chance for that has obviously passed, and that's really sad. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's my video commentary watch along track for Thomas the Magic Railroad. I hope that you liked it, and I hope I didn't ramble on too much, and I hope that I only gave you useful information. Yeah, I might do some more of these, maybe. I like watching movies, and I like learning about movies, so I could possibly do something more like this, like, in the future, but I thought it'd be useful to do a movie that I've watched a bunch and I really like, so... But yeah, thank you for watching and listening, and yeah. Goodbye.